Hello, Mr. Rowader here. I am going to help you conduct some experiments this year. This is going to be our first of probably many, I hope. For anybody that's learning at home this year, I will be guiding you through some scientific experiments as we go, some labs, some other stuff you'll get some videotape of and you get to experience it as well. And if you're at home and you're sick or something, you can also access them. So today we're talking about the scientific method and conducting experiments. We know that if you have a good experiment, you've controlled the number of variables. All right, so what is a variable? A variable is anything that you can change in an experiment that might affect its outcome. So really, really important piece is we only ever change one variable. Now that's vital because if I were to change multiple things in an experiment, let's say for instance, we talk about growing a plant, right? If I was growing a plant and I wanted to know how it could grow taller, does Miracle-Gro help or not? I would always make sure that I give it the same of everything. The only thing I would alter was the amount of Miracle-Gro. I wouldn't give it more water one day and less another day, or this plant more water and that plant less water, because if I did that, I really wouldn't know if it was the amount of water that it got that affected how high it grew, or if it was the amount of Miracle-Gro. All right. So for today's experiment, we're going to talk about a pendulum. A pendulum is a weight suspended from a fixed point. Here's one right here. Let's see if I can help you with that. You're getting sleepy. Okay, where have you seen pendulums before? Well, grandfather clocks. One place you might see them. You also might see it when someone's being hypnotized, right? But for our experiments, we're just going to talk about pendulums. So today we're going to test the effects of the length of the pendulum string on the number of swings or cycles the pendulum makes. The reason we're going to use cycles is because a cycle is a repeated pattern. We're going to hear that word a lot this year. So a cycle is from one way and then back to where it started would be one cycle. So I'm actually going to be counting back to the starting point, how long it takes to return to where it began. That would be a cycle. But first we should probably talk about the other variables. Now variables are anything that we can change in an experiment, like I had mentioned. But for today, we're going to talk about two really specific variables, and then we'll talk about how to handle the rest of the variables. The variable that we're testing, right, the one that we are manipulating, it's often known as the independent variable, but for the state standard and for the MCA test, they prefer the term the manipulated variable, the one we're going to change. So in this case, we're going to assess how the length of the string affects the number of cycles it will make. So that will definitely be our manipulated variable, the thing we're changing. Now, our responding variable is the thing we're going to change. Another name for that would be the dependent variable, but for the state's purposes, they like the responding variable, the one we're going to measure. In this case, we're going to be measuring the number of cycles this pendulum makes. Okay. Now, there's other variables in there. A good experiment, like I said, only changes one variable. So there's some things that we have to make sure we don't change in this experiment. One, I can't halfway through our experiment suddenly change the size of the washer, right? Or the mass of the washer, how heavy it is, or how big it is, right? Because it might have an effect on the experiment, and we don't want that to happen. Now, I also have to make sure that I am being very consistent about a few things. One, I can't start it just dropping it one time, and then maybe one time I drop it from up here, because that might have an effect on the number of swings that it makes, or cycles. I also can't throw it, so I always have to start it the same way. I'm always going to start at level and drop it. Now, I couldn't measure, for 20 seconds one time and 10 another. That's obviously going to have different answers. So we also have to make sure the time of the variable of time is consistent. Okay, so could I do it outside half the time and inside? Well, no, the wind might affect it, so I don't want to have that affected. So I always have to do it in the same environment as well. So I'm going to release it the same way. I'm going to have it swing the same number of times. I'm going to do it in the same environment. And I'm going to count it always the same way. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have my handy dandy timer, as otherwise known as a cell phone. I've set it to 17 seconds, so once I push start, I'll count to 2 and then I'll start. It was really the only way that I could accomplish this on my own with a mask off. Here we go. All right, so we are going to do 5 trials. Normally, in the experiment we're going to do here at school, 3 would be our minimum number of trials. The more attempts you do at something, or the more trials, the better your data is, right? If you get you do it 20 times and then average it out, that's going to be better than if you just do it once, to make sure that nothing affected it. But so the larger the number of experimental tries, the better your data is. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do 10 centimeters first. I'm going to push start, and we will count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, I think I had about 24. We're going to do that one more time because I don't like how I released it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got 23 that time. I think I had 24 the first time, but all right, let's go ahead and write down 23 under the pendulum length of 10, 23. All right, I'll write it on my data table. And now let's do the 20 centimeter. You'll notice on the string here, I used a yardstick to measure every 10 centimeters. All right, so now we're going to do 20 centimeters. I'll get the string out of the way. I will get my timer ready, and ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Stop. I'm going to go ahead and write 15. There we go. You know, us old people in phones, we're not very good at them. All right. Now I'm going to do 30 centimeters. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. 13 under 30 centimeters, 13 cycles. And now let's do 40. 10, 20, 30, 40. Get my string out of the way. Start and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write 11 and 4 where it says 40 centimeters. And we'll do the last one, which will be 50 centimeters, pendulum length of 50 centimeters. And start my timer, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Better try that one again. It seemed to have the... We're going to do 50 one more time. I think I mistimed it. We'll try it again. And start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, That seems more like it. Let's go with 9 that time. I'm going to go ahead and write down 11 on my first attempt and 9 on my second. I'm going to go ahead and conduct the experiment and collect the rest of the data, and I'll be back to show you what I'm talking about in just a minute. Bye-bye. Here is the remainder of my data after the experiment is done. Have a good day.